Hi, this is Brian J.L. Glass, creator, writer of Mice Templar from Image Comics, and you're watching VariantEdition.com.
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Nick.
Every week, Variant Edition brings you the best that comics has to offer. We've got Variant Edition Tuesdays with the latest headlines in the world of comics and a sneak peek at what comics you shouldn't miss on Wednesday.
Yeah, and later in the week, it's our regular half-hour Variant Edition with more news, reviews, interviews, and, well, basically anything we think is comic-related.
And boy, do we have a packed show this week.
That's right. This will be our first show with coverage from the Baltimore Comic-con. We have a big wrap-up show planned, but we talked to so many creators, we can't fit it all in one show.
So tonight we've got a few special guests, including super hot cover artist Stephane Roux and Mice Templar writer Brian J.L. Glass.
Yeah. Oh, and we got some reviews, too.
All right, that's enough with this intro. Get on with the show, sir.
Alright, so a few episodes back, you might remember, I had a chance to review the awesome Mice Templar #1, and at the show we had a chance to hang out with Brian Glass, where he told us how the first issue was received and what we can expect in the future of Mice Templar.
Hey guys, it's great to have you here at the con again, and it's really great to be on the show. It's incredible. It's a book we've worked on for many, many years. The actual interiors of this book have been in production for like the last 6 months. The story's been in production for several years, and my partner Mike Oming, he's had all sorts of other career things to fall back on. I've had this adaptation I've been doing for Marvel, Magician Apprentice. That's been paying the bills on the side, but this is the book that I've been waiting for the last 3 years to and now that it's here in my hands, it's words cannot describe what it felt like to finally pick this book up off a shelf, or when my copy showed up from Image to open the box and pull it out, and it's extremely cool. Reception has been amazing. We've gotten a lot of feedback from both fans and retailers. Here at the con, we've just been besieged by retailers. The Baltimore convention is in conjunction with the Diamond Retailer Summit. So there are retailers here this weekend from across the entire country, and we just spent Saturday having literally dozens of retailers come by the table telling stories about how the book just blew off their shelves opening day. Reorders came in. The reorders were gone in a week. It's just been an extraordinary time. Retailers are loving it. Fans are loving it. We sold out within a week at the distribution level. Just a sense of unreality. It's going into second print. It just feels like sky's the limit right now. This book will be on a consistent bi-monthly schedule. We'll see what the future holds about getting tighter than that, but issue 2 will be out November 15th, and the story only gets bigger, more exciting. There's a lot of crazy stuff to come, a lot of scary stuff to come, a lot of surprises, and for those of you who think it ended on a Star Wars note, don't trust Obi-Wan.
Alright guys, first review of the week, New Avengers issue 34. Now if you read the last issue, you already know what's going on, and things are just getting started in this book, with Wolverine stumbling upon the Hood's secret plan on attacking the Mighty Avengers with a newly built Deathlock. Now the great thing about this book are 3 things. The real-time continuity timing between this and Mighty Avengers, because Bendis is in charge of writing, so of course either one thing's going to be hinted at in one book, or one thing will be covered in another book, and vice versa. So that's one great thing. Second, Leinil Francis Yu, born to draw the New Avengers and pretty much any and all Marvel characters ever. And 3 is just the metaphoric plots, whether it's in the book or on the title or in the in the text between the characters. There's always something there to pick up on, and if you don't pick up on it, you'll get it later and refer back to it. So that's why I love this title. So again, if you go to the cover, a lot of people were asking at Wizard World Philly when the cover was shown everybody, what could that possibly mean? I don't get it. It's how everybody used to look. And Bendis says, it's got a big metaphoric meaning to it, and in this issue, it's revealed. Doctor Strange casts a spell to separate who the New Avengers really are on the inside and who is really a Skrull on the inside and outside. But I'm not going to ruin that for you. You're just going to have to read the issue to find it out. But that was really cool. So that, again, that hints back to the cover by it being metaphoric. So again, that underlines the whole theme of being paranoid, a lot of mistrust going on. Nobody knows who to turn to because you don't know who they really are. So this book is really great. It's really picking up. And at the end of the issue, there's a big surprise as one of the new Avengers' biggest foes makes a big surprise attack on New York City, but we don't know which team's going to respond because you got one team dealing with what's happening in S.H.I.E.L.D. and, the registration and initiative, and then you got the other team who's just basically on the run from the government and has a ton of problems on their own plate. So I can't wait to see where this goes. This book is so much fun. It's on my top 10, and if you're not reading it, you're missing out big time.
Webcomics. We haven't talked about webcomics that much on the show. I think maybe twice in the past. But I had a chance at the Baltimore Comic-Con to listen to Scott Kurtz and at a panel that I'm not going to go into details about, but he was hilarious. And every story that he told me was hilarious. Not me personally, but the whole group of people. And I think that's important. If you're going to be a good storyteller, you may as well get into comics because, well, it's an easy enough art form that you can do and put out there and try to get noticed for. And Scott Kurtz pulled it off nicely with PvP. PvP is a comic strip online that follows around these characters of Cole, the editor, Brent, the, web designer guy, Francis, the young but ever so popular gamer, and Jade, the sex object. And of course you've got a couple of freeloaders and a mythical troll creature. So if you're into video games or Nerf weapons or comic books or just about anything that would bring you to this show, maybe even D&D and LARPing and everything else, this is a comic strip for you. It's on the website every day. You can go to it. Great comic. There's nothing I can say bad about this. You've got hilarity from playing games online to Nerf wars in the office to sex objects to werewolf stories. You got everything in this comic strip. It's well written. It's hilarious. It's mostly 4 panels for each strip and quick reads. And every day there's a new one on the site. So why would you not look at this at least for, I don't know, the 5 minutes it's going to take you to read it? It's amazing. It's got everything that I look for in a comic, and that's kind of hard for me to say because I'm into a lot of different things, but this is it. This is everything that you want to know more about me as a person. You can read PvP, and you basically got me down to a T. It's an amazing strip. If you haven't read it yet, pick it up. There's a great hardcover coming out in a couple weeks or months, or I forgot the release date, but it's coming out. The awesomely awesome edition. I forgot the name of it. Awesomology edition. Thank you, Kevin. Of PvP, and it's great. There's 4 graphic novels out there. There's a comic book that comes out every so often. I don't know when because I'm dumb and I'm sorry, Scott Kurtz. But Scott Kurtz, you're amazing. I love you as a writer and as an artist, and keep up the good work. I'm gonna be reading you every day.
All right, everybody, get out your bags of ice because another ball-busting issue of The Walking Dead 42. The thing that sucks the most about this, we've been treated with all these little weekly issues. After this, 43, you're going to have to wait until next month. And with the end of this, you're definitely going to need an extra big bag of ice. Anyway, it's going great. Everybody back at the compound still doing their thing. Everybody's kind of freaked out about the whole Carol thing. It was done and over with before it even started. Carol becomes a zombie. Andrea, not messing around. Pop, 2 zombies done. Everybody realizes, hey, bringing a zombie into the pen really wasn't the best idea. That's all done and over with. It's kind of funny to see how Herschel's son was like, man, she came to me and had sex with me, and then she did that. Why would she do that to me? I don't know, because she was freaking crazy. Why would she turn herself into a zombie? I don't know. The only thing I gotta say is, Carol, your daughter is gonna be so traumatized when she grows up. But anyway, she's hanging out with Rick and all them. The rest of the stories go on. You find out that Andrea and Tyrese really aren't as involved as Dale was kind of jealously thinking. He even says to her, like, oh, if you just want to have sex with them, that's fine. I'm just an old man. I wouldn't want to have sex with me either. Or something to that extent. And it turns out that they weren't, like, sneaking out to have sex. They were building them a little peg leg, which kind of gives me an answer to why issue 42 has Dale with the leg. But in the comic, it's just the peg leg, sans a shoe, and no pant leg covering it. He's got, another leg now, made of wood. And it goes well. And the rest of the thing is just, everybody still being somewhat content in the jail. Not even content, it's just like, this is how life is now. It's so used to, like, I wake up, I go to the dining hall, I eat my breakfast, I go out to the garden and see what's been growing, praise Herschel for growing, like, fresh vegetables and all this stuff. And everybody's just really like, that's how your day goes. They watch movies on the weekends, blah, blah, blah. And with the end of this, it all goes to hell. I'm not going to say anything to tell you what it is. All I know is issue 43 can't come soon enough, and it really sucks that they're making you wait a whole month to find out what happens after the last page of Walking Dead.
Alright guys, issue 8 of Trials of Shazam. It's been a while since we reviewed this because it's been delayed, and I'll explain that in a little bit. But we see Freddy going through the trials, trying to obtain the power of Shazam, because if you didn't read Infinite Crisis, you wouldn't know that the original Wizard Shazam was defeated and killed by the Spectre. Henceforth, Billy Batson, the original Captain Marvel, had to step up and become the new Wizard and, reside in the Rock of Eternity. So a lot's been going on if you haven't read this book or anything outside the book. So here we have Freddy just running into all kinds of crazy situations to obtain the power of Shazam, and the latest one is to go talk to Atlas and go through that trial and, receive the power of Atlas, the man who holds up the world. There's only one problem. Atlas is dead already. So it's just pandemonium as Freddy's confused, and the guy who's guiding him through his trials is confused because they're just like, what happened? How'd he die? What do we do now? So there's only one thing to do. Go to the next god and obtain that power and ask for his help. So the cool thing that happens in this issue is that Billy, the original Captain Marvel, the new Wizard, I know it's getting confusing, comes down and fills in for Atlas's place while Freddy goes out for the next trial for the next god. So the next god being Apollo, the god of music, poetry, and medicine, I believe. So he's there. He can't believe that, Atlas is dead. He refuses to take his position, and he can't believe that Freddy's going to be the new, inheritor of the Shazam power and the title of Captain Marvel. So there's just this big confrontation with him, with Freddy and Apollo about discussing, why he should help him, why she even bother, and that Apollo's very content with his life on Earth, being a, regular Earthman, being a doctor, helping people, having a wife and a son, I believe, just living a regular mortal life. Kind of Thor-like, if you must. So things are getting really intense. Now, the reason for this book being heavily delayed, I spoke to Ron Garney back in Baltimore, which you'll see in later episodes in an interview. He's very good friends with Howard Porter, and according to Ron, Howard Porter had quite a severe hand injury to his drawing hand, hence the big delays in this book. So what he did tell me was there will be a new interior artist and cover artist for the book, but Howard will still be seeing the art direction and the color direction, so I think he's still going to be coloring the book. So hopefully it'll ship out in time and finish up pretty soon because it's been a long time since the book started. But other than that, great book. It's got a really interesting take on, the realm of magic and the book of magic and the rules of engagement of how you use magic, and just the cool transitions of how the gods became mortals, and just like the metaphoric meanings they've taken on is just really cool. So I highly recommend this book if you're into more older characters like the legacy of the Shazam family. This is definitely for you. And if you're a new reader, this is a great jumping on point because you're learning about the powers of Shazam. You're learning about the Pantheon Cup, with all the gods. And it's an easy breakdown of how the powers work and how all the new magic world works. So it's a great book, and I can't wait for the next issue. So while we were at the Baltimore Comic-Con, I got a chance to sit down with DC's cover artist extraordinaire, Stephane Roux, to talk about his work, his art style, and what might be in his future. Check it out. Hi, Lewis, back at the con 2007 Baltimore here with Stephane Roux, exclusive DC cover artist, one of the hot artists right now. Stephane, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to talk to us. Now, you came over from France, correct? And you were an illustrator over there and an animator. What brought you to America, and most importantly, what brought you to do comics?
Well, the thing is, I'm still living in France.
Wow.
And I'm working there as an animation director. So that's my workday job mostly. And I'm only doing covers and interior pages. I did 2 for Poison Ivy. On my weekends and evenings. So I'm not really here all the time, but I'm trying to get more and more in conventions, and then maybe, I don't know, one day settle down here.
Okay.
Make it a regular job.
On the
5 days a week.
Yeah.
7 days a week.
Yeah. Now, would you care to explain to me your art style? It's very beautiful. It's very unique. And like your covers, for example, for the DC stuff, it's interesting because it's like there's the ink and then it's just full color. It's like do you paint everything yourself, or do you send it to someone else to get painted?
Yeah.
Are there very tight pencils, or what?
Yeah. Well, I usually do tight pencils, and then I put some ink on it, and I do all the colors. I used to have a color. Somebody who would be doing the colors for me, and she was the model actually for some of the design I did also on the girls.
Okay.
And now she's working in animation with me too, and but she doesn't have that much time now to do the colors, so I do the colors and covers. She helped me on the 2 pages for Poison Ivy.
Okay.
She did some of the basic colors, so that would make me get some more time to focus on the details, on the highlights and stuff.
Okay.
But I usually do the colors on the covers myself.
What's in the works for the future for you? What are you doing later on this year, next year? Are you sticking with DC, just doing covers? Are you just getting a feel for it?
I just told them I would be more available around November because the animation gig is coming to an end.
Okay.
So the thing is, I want to do more covers. I just let them know that, and I'm going to talk with them in the weeks to come about that. See what I can do. See if they want me to draw some more characters. I'd like to try some male characters, like maybe a Superman or Green Lantern. That would be great.
Okay, that's great. And it's all just DC, or you want to do Marvel stuff, or is there any stuff you want to do by yourself as a creator project?
Well, so far I'm really having a great time with DC, so I'd stick to them for a little bit of time. I've talked with Rob Levin from Top Cow.
Okay.
And he's trying to have me draw some girls too, maybe on covers before going to interior pages.
Oh wow, okay.
And I'm open to any other companies, but the thing is, I just want to. There are some things I would like to do with DC, with some DC characters. That would be fun. So
yeah.
I'll just see what the future brings.
Yeah, well that's great. Well, there you have it, guys. Stephane Roux. Look out for more Countdown covers. Thank you very much for your time, Stephane. We'll see you soon.
It's been my pleasure.
Back to you guys.
New X-Men number 42, one of my guilty little pleasures here. Can I begin to say, I know this is just my taste. I don't like the artwork. I liked it clean. I liked it good colors. It's fine. The artwork that they're going with now, not my thing. That's the only thing that's turning me off the story. But the story is still good. This is the fallout of the whole search for magic and what's going on there. And they're all back at the X Academy now. Everything's cool. Rockslide is still Lava Guy, or he was at one point. They're kind of talking about their new powers, is what's going on here. They're reformatting the team as we knew by adding Pixie and Lizard Boy, who's now got a big hunkin' arm, and X-23 wants to cut off the rest of his limbs. Find out later by looking into the book. Rockslide doesn't have a body anymore. Perplexing. A conscious entity that roams the earth and takes form of earth-shaped rock stuff? Could he form himself out of, I don't know, iron or some other metal that it would be naturally found in the ground? This would be interesting. Hope they do it, because that means that Colossus isn't the only metal guy on the X team anymore. This is just a great little halfway point. Everyone's kind of they're trying to figure out what they're going to do with the team, and the older guys like Cyclops, who is a scumbag, he is now saying like, oh, we screwed up, we weren't watching the kids, there's 1/8 of the population of mutants left on Earth here at X Academy, and we totally just leave them and go into space. And Wolverine's like, yeah, we could just send them into space to fight this thing. Like, oh, that's real mature, Wolverine. No, but it's these kids are coming of age, people. We've got the last group of kids on the face of the planet who are going to be the last generation of mutants, and they're not really being taught properly at this point. They're being taught, but just not well enough. And it looks like they can handle them their own selves now. Like going up against Shaitan was amazing. So maybe they could leave X Academy if they wanted to, if it wasn't for the fact that they were kids and needed jobs and to pay for things and everything else. But I really like this team, and I really want to see where it's going, and I like what they're doing in this book as far as this issue showing you kind of where they're going and where they're going to be headed to.
All right, everybody, reviewing this time, Fear Agent, The Last Goodbye, number 3. And as you all remember from the last time I reviewed a Fear Agent issue, it was issue 2 of The Last Goodbye. Awesome issue. And I was like so psyched and so ready for issue 3. I'm like, oh man, what's going to happen? He's there, he's got like the Fear Agent suit, he's rallying up the troops, they're going to go like beat some robot ass and everything. First panel, first page, 7 months later. Ow! I really wanted to see what was going on. Really, really wanted to see what was going on. Why did they do that? I don't know. I hope they're speeding it up to get back to the story that they stopped telling to tell The Last Goodbye. Anyway, that kind of hurt. Issue 3 is still great. It just goes kind of more the extreme of how issue 2 was. Issue 2 was kind of like that weird twisted zombie tale of these people like trying to survive in this world, but instead of zombies, it's giant lizards eating people while flying jetpacks and robots blasting everything into oblivion. Well, now it's kind of like that still, but these people have alien technology that apparently in 7 months you can make I don't know how, and I guess we'll never know. But yeah, so they have alien technology now, and it's more of the people, instead of trying to survive, fighting back, trying to like hold their own and keep Earth for people. Because, who wants robots moving in next door? Unless if they're Autobots, but that's a whole other story. Anyway, issue 3 is great, has a really good ending. It has that whole like 1950s noir, not even noir, it's just like, it's like World War II meets, I don't know, some robots and giant lizards. It's kind of like that. It's ridiculous, it's fun, it's sci-fi to no end, and the ending is really like, wow, I really, really feel for these characters. I hope issue 4 isn't, 8 months later after that. It's the only complaint that I have, and if they ever continue anything more, do like another story arc, hey, me and I'm pretty sure everybody else who read issue 2 of The Last Goodbye wants to know what happened in those 7 months. Other than that, great read, definitely check it out.
Ultimate Spider-Man number 113. Norman Osborn is out of jail, as we all know. But this issue kind of goes back and shows you, like, well, how did he get out of jail? What's he doing? It goes more into depth about, like, what his power is and how it actually works. And, he has a nice face-off with Doc Ock, which is ended with Electro. Spectacular. And it ends with a nice little Norman Osborn on the news talking about how Nick Fury is a giant douchebag and he's locked up everybody inside this thing for no reason. He hasn't been told what his crimes are. He wasn't given a fair trial and he's just been locked up for this whole time. Where is the American sense in that, Mr. Fury, agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Where is it? Well, just like everything else, it's gone. Because you're a supervillain. Supervillains don't get rights to trials and everything else. Or at least that's the way I would run the country if I was Nick Fury. Because Nick Fury really does run the country in any universe of Marvel. But what we've got is, it's all about Norman Osborn here. How he got to where he is, what he is, why he's mad, and what he's going to do about it in the near future.
The long-awaited independent story from Hellboy and everything else, Lobster Johnson and the Iron Prometheus. All you, like, indie fans have probably been looking forward to this. Me, I know of Lobster Johnson by image and by name. Got nothing against him. Don't know much about him. Wish I did. Because this issue was really, really good. I really dig the whole vibe that Lobster Johnson gives off. It's like Dick Tracy meets The X-Files meets this awesome guy who's got a lobster claw symbol on his chest. Great, great stuff. The gist of it is Lobster's sent out for finding this guy who worked with a scientist who's building like this iron metal suit, kind of like an Iron Man looking thing, but not really. And lots of stuff goes down because, it's in like the 1930s and the Nazis are just starting and they got their fingers in many a sinister soup and they want a piece of this suit. And long story short, the scientist and the daughter that helped them build the suit, kidnapped by them trying to find out where it is. Now Lobster Johnson is trying to protect this guy so that the bad guys, i.e. the Nazis, don't get it. Really great stuff. It's got that whole Dick Tracy vibe. He's like, in this building, find the guy with the suit while he's got like some little kid with a cap on with like a really, really old school radio talking to him with like big headphones and shit. Really, really great stuff. It's a fun, nostalgic, somewhat story. Lobster Johnson, the idea of this character is just great. Just, a badass crime fighter. Why he can put like this red claw thing on his palm, don't really know. Anybody out there who knows or like has a really good summary of a background of Lobster Johnson, please let me know if you want to post on a forum or something. But anyway, if you're into Hellboy, Mike Mignola, all that other stuff, definitely check it out, because it's spooky, it's creepy, it's fun, and the story's got like a really good pace, and they're fighting Nazis. What better bad guy to have in a comic than Nazis? Enough said.
Alright guys, here's your bullet punch for this week, starting off with Thor issue 3. It's Avenger versus Avenger throwdown, as Tony gives the Odin son a warm welcome back to the post-Civil War Initiative Marvel U. Now Thor does pick a side, but you're just going to have to read to find out which one it is. On to the next book, Captain America The Chosen, #1. Same fashion as Spider-Man Reign, we see the last days of Captain America being chronicled, and also a soldier on the tour of duty in Iraq, who's mysteriously aided by Cap, or is he? You're going to have to find out if Cap is still fighting the good fight, or is his poor soldiers going insane. Next book, Justice League of America Wedding Special. Black Canary and Green Arrow getting ready to get married, so the JLA's throwing a big party, but the Injustice Society of America, the new team, formed by Lex Luthor, has other plans. You just have to read and find out what happens. Next book, JSA #9. 2 Supermen, Thy Kingdom Come Again. Big things are happening in the multiverse, and it's going to take the power of 2 Supermen to stop it again. What more do you want in this book? Punisher, War Journal #11. Bucky and Frank having a nice sit-down outside of Washington Capitol, talking about the events of the past couple months. Frank gives Cap's mask back to Bucky, so the theme of Captain America coming back is still up in the air. If it's going to be taken, it's going to have to keep reading to find out. Next book, Nova, number 6, Annihilation Conquest tie-in. Richard has been taken over by the Phalanx. Still no sign of recovery. A huge ending to this book. A big casualty. And it's not looking good for Worldmind and the reinstatement of the Nova Corps. And finally, Daredevil number 100. The huge milestone pinnacle 100th issue. Matt has been infected with Mr. Fear's, smoke virus where he's going insane. He's being, very, there's pandemonium going on. Mila has committed a murder due to the, also exposure to the gas. Poor Matt's life is falling apart as it's coming back together. Who knows what's going to happen? And that's your bullet punch for this week, guys. See you next time.
All right, that's it for Variant Edition.
Remember we said we talked to so many creators that we couldn't fit it all into one show? Well, for some, we had some pretty in-depth interviews.
Like Stephane Roux.
That's right.
Check out variantedition.com for the uncut version of the interview. It's something that we plan on doing for all of the interviews conducted at the con.
Yeah, speaking of which, next week will be our big wrap-up episode. We'll cram as much of the weekend as we can into half an hour. Coverage from the floor, the Harvey Awards, a few of the interviews we did, and our final impressions on the show.
I can't wait. I still haven't seen some of the footage, and I was there taping most of it.
Yeah. And we've got Kevin chained to his desk working on it. Oh, and as proof, check out the image panel that we shot and put up after we got home.
I guess you could say that we're finally learning.
I guess you could say that. And you did.
I did.
Anyway, once again, big news, we have some viewer sponsors.
That's right. Paul and Alex saw our Sponsor Us link on the website, and here we are thanking them on the show. You want your name mentioned on the show? You want a really cool t-shirt? Check out variantedition.com for the Sponsor Us link.
Yeah, then we can mention you when we remind everyone that Variant Edition is made possible through our viewer sponsors like Alex and Paul.
And then when we're reminding you, you'll be wearing the t-shirt. Oh, and Kevin wants us to remind everyone that qualifies that we should have our new t-shirt soon and mailed out.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's it until next time, but remember, there are quite a few ways to watch us.
You've got iTunes, VO, YouTube, and Google Video, and don't forget our new high-res feed from Blip TV, or head over to variation.com and watch us on our page.
And while you're at our page, keep your eyes open for some new editions, exclusive only to variantedition.com.
New edition, says you?
That's right.
Entertainment quality, says you?
Meh.
Okay, well, that's good enough for me. That's it for Variant Edition. See you next time. Do 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 do.